Hello my fellow gnomes, today it is time to start earning some money. So we've got this little object, this little mesh, it's called gold, and I want us to be able to pick it up and get some currency in our game. So let's add a really basic implementation of currency first, and then we're going to build on it. So I'm going to add a new script into ServerScript service. We'll call this script data. I like to keep this separate from all of the module loader stuff, and then delete hello world and reference the players module. And then we're going to create a function for whenever a player is added, and we can loop through all of the players that are currently in the game, and then also react to whenever a new player joins. This is usually perfectly fine to handle most cases of a player adding, but sometimes you can get an edge case where this might not run straight away, especially if you end up with a load of code at the top of your script. And let's actually, because this is a loop, inside of a task.spawn, like so. This will just make sure that we're not yielding anything. All right, so in this player added, let's set up something called leaderstats, which is actually just a folder, but you need to name it leaderstats, because that's how Roblox recognizes this as a basic leaderboard setup. And then inside of that folder, we're going to add something called gold, which is just going to be a int value. So an object that stores a number. Give it a name, and the value is just going to be 0. Parent the gold to the leader stats, and then finally make sure you parent the leader stats to the player. Now, when you do this, you should now see I've now got gold 0 gold. How exciting. Now what I want to happen is touch my gold coins and gain some gold. Super easy. Let's select the gold, add in a script, script.parent.touched, connect to a function, hit, and then we'll just check if that hit is a player. Whatever the parent of the hit is, so if it was a left leg, then the parent of that left leg should be a character, and then in turn that character will get us a player. And if they're a player, then we can start giving them some money. So we'll do destroy the gold instance, and then we'll just access their leader stats, .gold.value plus equals to add to it and give them, say, 25 gold. And let's just rename this script gold giver. Okay, so now if we go up to our coin object and touch it, there we go. We've got 25 gold. The thing disappeared. Cool. So that works. We've got 25 gold. But then if we leave the game and we rejoin, we've still got 0 gold again. Okay, so, and then it's there to pick up. Our game is sort of existing in an instance state. Nothing saves over. And for an RPG, we might want to have gold we're building up so we can save up for new weapons. We're getting chased by the goblin here. We might want to have a quest system, an XP leveling system, and all that kind of stuff that you're not going to be able to do in one gameplay. Therefore, we need to be able to save the game's state for each player. To do this, we're going to be using something called ProfileStore by legendary developer Loloris. This is a successor to the Profile service, if you've heard of that, and this really makes saving data pretty easy. And there's a tutorial by Riley Bytes, which is pretty great, and we're going to be using that as the basis for our setup in this game as well. So head over to the Roblox library and grab yourself the module, then you'll be able to open it up in Studio. I'll leave the link to this in the description. So we'll add ProfileStore and add it inside of the data script. And then inside of it, I'm going to immediately create another module, and we're going to name this template and return a blank table. And basically we could put anything in here that we want to have saved in our game. So we definitely want to have gold. If we want, we can give it a default value. So players say start with 10 gold, but I think 0 is fine. You could have anything in here. So maybe you want to track how many total kills they've had in the game, right? And so you increment that and they can check their stats. You might want to track what items they have in the game, what quests they're on. So you might end up with some data, something like this: gold, kills, XP, items, and quests. You get the idea. That's your template. If you ever want to add or adjust to this at any time, right, you want to add some new data, well, whenever the next player comes in, they will have this data load in. That's what's so great about ProfileStore. It's very easy to modify. Now let's go to our data script and we'll reference the profile store along with the template we just set up. And now we need to send that template into ProfileStore and set up our data for this play session. So we create a new instance of ProfileStore. We're going to give it a name. This is in string. You can give it whatever you like. We'll just call this game, and then we'll provide the template. So now every time a new player joins the game, we want to grab their data from this player store, this game database that we've just set up. So I'm just going to create a few new functions just to help this. So we're going to throw all our leaderstat stuff into a new initialize function, right? So move all of those into there. And then we're going to set up a setup profile data function, which is going to take the player as well. And then obviously call both of these from player added. So we're setting up the profile store first, and then we'll go and initialize the leader stats so that we can use whatever values are in that store to set their gold and their levels and all the other data we might want to apply. So we're going to start by creating a new session for this player, the user, and that's going to be their profile. So we call the start session async function. Now the profile key needs to be a string. Usually we would use the player.userid. However, this is actually a number. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in these little curly brackets, and then we're going to wrap those in backticks. So it looks a little bit like a string, but you'll notice the player.userid doesn't turn green. So that's going to be converted into a string for us. And then we can add in some functions. So I'm just going to have something called cancel, because if the player no longer has a parent, right, if they're leaving the game, by the time we're starting this session logic, then we don't even want to care, right? We just forget about them. Otherwise, we can start to load it. So if they do have a profile, we assign their user ID to it, and then we call the reconcile method. Now, all this does is it uses anything that's missing inside of the template since the last visit. So if they played previously and this was the data, and then we added some new settings, say, right, then it'll make sure that player's data now contains the settings. So you're never going to end up in a situation where newer and older players end up with a mismatched data file, which is really useful. Now, if after all this, the parent of the player is still players, they're still in the game, then we'll take a log of all their data. So let's at the top create an empty table called profiles, and then we can say profiles and use the player as a new index, and set this to the profile we've created. Otherwise, if they've left the game, we're going to want to end the session. Now, one thing we want to get bear in mind is session locking. So what I mean by this is if someone leaves one server and they join another server of the game really quickly, we don't want anything weird to happen where like their items duplicate or there may be some like weird money glitch they can take advantage of. So whenever the session ends, we want to connect that into a function. And we just make sure that this new profile we've set up is nil. And if they're still in the game, then we want to end them. Then we want to kick them. Profile session ended. Please rejoin. This will be shown to the player. And we'll also do a kick if for some reason we fail to load the profile. Then we can say profile load failed. Please rejoin. So now we have our setup profile data function. We also need to consider when the player leaves the game. So at the very bottom here, players.player removing, get the player that left, and we'll see if they had a profile. And if they did have a profile, then we need to wipe it. So we can call the end session method and then change whatever's kept inside our profiles table to nil. So now in our player initialize method, we can actually reference their profile now, seeing as it's being run after setup profile data, so we know it will exist. And for the value of gold, instead of setting it to 0, we're going to set it to profile.data.gold. And you see it auto completes for us as well. So any of the other values we have inside of that template. And just to verify it's all working here, let's just add in a cheap little while true loop. And in it, I'm going to say profile.data.gold plus equals 1. And then I'll update the value of the gold on our leader stats. And we're going to do this every second. Now, if we go and we play the game, we are going to get an error because it's going to tell us that we're not allowed to write to the data store. So all you need to do is head over to File and go to Experience Settings. That's going to give you this box here. And if you go onto your Security tab, you're going to see this Enable Studio Access to API Services. Toggle that, click Save, and now that should get rid of that error for you. And we should see we've got our gold counter and it's going up. And if we wait until it goes up to, say, 10, and then we leave the game, that should hopefully save. And if we come and rejoin, we should now have, look, we've got 10 and it's already ticking up to 15 gold. Pretty cool. So we know that our data store is working. The only thing we need to do is actually interface this stuff with the rest of our scripts, right? Like our little money pouch that we just added. So let's, to start off, let's get rid of this well truly. Obviously, we don't want that. Now, one thing that's quite nice to do is separate all of our data loading logic from our data updating logic. So I'm going to create a new manager for this, a new module script, and we're going to call this the DataManager and update it like so inside of it. And it's actually in here, I'm going to set the profiles as well. So then if I ever want to say add gold, I'll have a DataManager.addGold function, and I can just apply the player and the amount. I can get a profile from them from this profiles table, looking for the player. If they don't have a profile for some reason, then ignore them. But then it's a case of just updating those values, just like we did before in that little while true loop we created, but using plus equals amount this time. Now, it's nice to have a wrapper function for this, even though basically it's just 2 lines of code, but it just saves me having to write these 2 lines of code every single time. And maybe later on, I might want to like add some analytics or something every time I update the coins, or I might want to react to if they reach a certain amount of coins and give them some achievement perhaps. Well, I don't want to have to be doing all of that every time I give them gold. So having a wrapper function like this is really useful to have. So I can just reference my data manager, and it's very easy to read and edit without having to look at all of the data loading stuff. So now I'm using the data manager. I want to put the profiles inside of this table rather than the profiles table. So let's reference the data manager. We'll get server script service and then reference the data manager like so. And then we'll delete this reference to profiles and swap that out with datamanager.profiles here and here and here and here and here. There we go. And if we Control F, we have no reference to profiles that isn't datamanager.profiles. Cool. That's what we want. So now let's return to our old humble pot of gold in our gold giver. Now this function is looking a little bit crude. We don't want to reference the leader stats directly anymore. We want to use our wrapper function. So let's use server script service and reference the data manager. And then we can call the add gold method, supplying the player and the amount. In this case, we're going to say 25 gold. So now if I play, I've got 19 gold from when we were testing with that loop before. And if I come over and touch this, I'm going to go up to 44. And if I leave and I rejoin, I've still got 44 gold, and I can pick up the bag of money again if I want. So rather than leaving this bag of money just lying around for sort of infinite gold, what we should probably do is have it as loot for when you kill an enemy. And that's super easy to do. So let's just move this model down into, let's create a new folder inside assets. We'll call this models, and we'll move our gold into here. And then inside enemy server, if we scroll down to on death, before we actually destroy the model, let's just make a note of the position they were in the world. So if they have a root and that root has a parent, then we can say the position is equal to whatever the position of the root is. The reason I'm doing this is because say they've fallen into the void, then the root will have been deleted. It won't have a parent. They won't have a position. So that would cause an error otherwise. And then after we have destroyed the model, but before we respawn them, let's check. If they did have a death position, then the gold pouch we can add into the world. So go to replicator storage.assets.models.gold, clone it, and I'm actually going to set the position of this. We could calculate a whole offset, but really, because I've set this to being unanchored, it doesn't really matter. So if we set it to the same position, it can fall down to the floor, and we can add its parent into the workspace. Maybe you want it to like disappear from the world if no one picks it up after a certain time. So we could say game.debris, add item, add the gold pouch, and then we'll set a lifetime value. So if nobody picks it up after say 20 seconds, then it's just going to destroy itself. And we'll just comment this is dropping loot. So now if I use my overpowered royal sword and I come and I kill the goblin, when he disappears, we should hopefully see, there we go, a money pouch spawns in. And the same if I kill Angry Arnold. And if I kill the goblin again, we now see these money pouches are starting to appear. Pretty cool. And if I pick one of them up, I'm going to get 25 gold. And if I ignore that one and I don't pick it up, there we go. You can see it just despawned out of the game. So there we go. We've got a working gold system in our game now. We've got data saving. We've got loot. And we have got this goblin forever trying to kill us in the Sisyphean struggle. And in the next video, I think it's time that we add a shop so we have something to actually spend our money on. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.